Today brought to you by Payal from Commune Kitchen. We are so ready to cooking up a storm, aren't we? Yes. We are live now on YouTube.
Thanks.
Okay, I admit everyone.
Idea. Okay. There. Move over.
Hello, hello. A very good morning to everyone. Welcome to Let's Cook, brought to you by Commune Kitchen and Your Ripe. My name is Xingyan. I'm the founder of Your Ripe. Your Ripe is a cooking app for local cooking inspirations. You get a lot of easy to follow Asian recipes, some Western classics as well. You can download the app for free on App Store, Google Play Store. And today we are here with Payal, and we're gonna cook up 2 amazing dishes from her kitchen. Very excited. And I think before we start, just want to say this is a cook along session. So you are encouraged to switch on your webcam and cook along with us. We're gonna go through step by step. And anytime you have questions, you can unmute yourself, ask the questions, or you can also type in to the chat box, and I will ask Payal the questions, and we will have a very interactive and fun session. Are you ready? Yes, I'll pass over to Payal.
Hi everyone, good morning. Hope you're having a wonderful morning on this gray, rainy day. We are going to be making 2 fabulous dishes today. I'm just going to do a quick introduction before we get started. A lot of you already know me. My name is Payal, and I am the founder and culinary instructor of Commune Kitchen in downtown Singapore. We host affordable hands-on cooking classes for you folks, home chefs, and people of all ages. I'm not gonna talk anymore. We're gonna move on straight into the recipe because we've got tons to do today. We are gonna start by marinating our chicken. Today, I have got a whole chicken that I've already prepped. I suggested that for this recipe, we use chicken with bone because it's a stew, and I have dissected my chicken already. I've got thighs right here and some legs. I've got my breast right here, not my breast, the chicken's breast. I've got some wings right here as well, all ready to go. The carcass I am saving for my stock. If you haven't got a whole chicken, I suggested that you buy some chicken thighs with bone. I hope you've gotten that already. So we're gonna get started and dive into this straight away. Okay. Let's put this down.
Just for those who are watching on YouTube as well, very good morning to you all. Thank you for tuning in this morning. The 2 dishes today we're gonna make, its first dish is Filipino Adobo chicken. It's widely known as the most popular dish in the Philippines. So very excited to learn about this. And we're gonna start with the prep. And the second dish we're going to make, it's the spinach with sesame miso sauce, a very refreshing dish that you can have it cold or warm. So let's start with the marination, the first step.
Okay, so chicken right here, whole chicken or chicken thighs on the bone. Important that you have them on the bone. And we're gonna get started with some light soy sauce. Get that ready. We have some dark soy sauce right here, so get that ready as well. And I have some garlic. I've got about 5 cloves of garlic. I have a knob of ginger. Now this wasn't in the recipe, but I like to add chili to my food, to all my food. So I'm gonna be adding some chili powder as well. If you've got it at home, use it. If you don't wanna add chili, that's perfectly fine too.
Yes, this dish is great. For those who don't take spicy, you can also make it. It's very flavorful.
Yeah, generally in the Philippines, they don't add any chili to their adobo. It's basically just chicken or any other form of protein with root vegetables or onions even sometimes. This is dark soy sauce, and you only need about a tablespoon of this stuff because this is mainly used for color. Okay, so 1 tablespoon of dark soy sauce goes in. I have got some light soy sauce here. Now this is used for saltiness. When we have a minute later on, we'll talk about why this dish is called adobo. Adobo is actually a Spanish word. This is half a cup of light soy sauce, so 125 ml or half a cup of light soy goes in as well. Looks like a lot, but this is going to be our base sauce. So go for it. Don't be intimidated by the quantity. We're just going to give this a mix very quickly. And I will start chopping my other ingredients now. I'm just going to set this aside for a minute and I'll start chopping my ginger, garlic, and chili.
Very nice.
Right. Okay, my garlic's right here. Just going to smash that with the side of my knife.
I think by now, if you've been following our classes, you'll be a pro in this step already.
All right, so smash your garlic, chop the head off. You don't need the root part. You just need the cloves. You don't need the peel either. I'm guessing a lot of people are cooking along today. How many do we have online cooking now, Xinyang?
So we have 30 participants,
okay.
And we have, I see cameras, 16 of them will switch on.
Okay,
I see
cool.
a cat as well. So
a cat as well, okay.
Special guest in one of our participants' kitchen.
Okay, let's start chopping my...
Hi, Amelia. Thanks for switching on your webcam.
Okay, so chopping my garlic now. Okay, and once I'm done, I'm just gonna throw this into my chicken marinade. Straight away.
Hi, thank you. Thanks for switching on. We see you too.
These were about 5 cloves of garlic. Now, this is one of the important ingredients that they always have in an adobo. In the Philippines, there are as many variations of adobo as there are cooks. Every family, every island has their own version, depending on what they grow locally, I'm guessing. And adobo literally means marinade in Spanish, that is. Okay, I'm just gonna throw that in here.
Yes, adobo means a type of marination, a stew. And apparently it says that when the Spanish arrived in the Philippines in the 16th century, they saw the traditionals cooking using this method to cook the kitchen, in the kitchen, and then they name it adobo.
Yeah, so
there's another version in Spain, but it's a bit spicy.
Okay, so there are many variations of adobo. Like I said, it means marinate. I'll talk about that in a minute. Let's start peeling our ginger now. I'm going to use a small spoon to peel my ginger so I can get into those little crevices.
Do you have the preference between young or old ginger for this dish?
No, you can use young or old ginger. It doesn't matter. I just like using young ginger because it's easier to handle. It doesn't have all that fiber that you see in old ginger.
I see.
This is young ginger, and I do a lot of Chinese cooking at home, and so end up using young ginger in all of my recipes because in Chinese cooking, you use a lot of young ginger. Okay, so we'll chop the ginger as well now. Slice it first, and then start chopping it fine. Yeah, so, you know, like many cultures in tropical countries mainly, there are different ways of preserving meat in tropical countries, you know, for times when we didn't have refrigerators. And one of them was the use of salt and in the form of soy sauce, and the use of acid in the form of vinegar or lemon or lime juice. And you see that in a lot of countries. For instance, we've got rendang in Indonesia and Malaysia, which is prepared in a similar way with lots of spices and acid in it to ensure preservation. And they did that in the Philippines as well, using soy sauce as a form of salt and vinegar as a form of acid. And so when the Spanish arrived in the Philippines many years ago and took it over as a colony, they noticed what the Filipinos were doing, and they really liked the way they were using vinegar and soy sauce as a marinade. And they knew this was a marinade, so they started calling it adobo, and the name just stuck around. And Filipino adobo is nothing like the adobo sauce or the adobo marinade that you see in Spain or in different parts of South America, like Peru and Puerto Rico, Mexico. They all have their different versions of adobo. The common factor is the acid that they use. So the acid could be vinegar, it could be orange juice, it could be lime. They use chilies, they use salt. Depending on which country you're in, they use local ingredients to make their own version of adobo.
Very interesting.
Okay, we're just gonna mix that all in. And now if you're gonna be adding a little bit of heat to it, you can. Now, traditionally, they don't use any chili in this dish. Filipinos don't eat a lot of chili. They barely eat any chili actually.
Payal, but about the ginger, is there any difference in terms of flavor between old and young ginger?
Old ginger is a little more stronger in flavor because the flavors, the juices in there are concentrated because it's a bit more mature. And so the flavors are more concentrated in old ginger compared to young ginger.
I see.
Okay, I'm chopping my chili patty now, and this is gonna go into my marinade as well. Okay. Now, ideally, you should marinate this for a few hours in the refrigerator and then take it out an hour prior to cooking so it comes back to room temperature before you sear it. But we don't have that amount of time today. So we're just gonna finish marinating this and leave it out for about an hour. I'm not touching this, as you can see, because these chilies are very hot.
Exactly, that's what I learned too.
Yeah.
It happened to me actually before, and I had to soak my hands in like lemon juice to eat the burn.
That's a good one. You can rub lemon juice all over your hands if you end up touching them and they start to burn. Okay, I've mixed this already. I'm just gonna set this aside. I'm not putting it in the fridge. I'll just leave it out to marinate for about half an hour while we're prepping the other ingredients, okay? I'm hoping everyone is on task. I can't hear you, so just show me a thumbs up so I know.
Feel free to show us how's the chicken marination going. Have you added the ginger, the garlic?
Okay, so we had a tablespoon of dark soy sauce in here, half a cup of light soy sauce, 5 cloves of chopped garlic, 1 knob of ginger, finely chopped, and 1 chili, which I've added additionally. And this is gonna sit aside for the time being and rest. Okay. Do I have a thumbs up yet or no?
Yes, we have many.
Okay, all right. So we're gonna move on to preparing the next set of ingredients for adobo, and we'll set those aside, and then we'll start with the spinach. All righty? Okay. Next, you need 1 carrot and 1 potato. We're gonna start by peeling the carrots and the potatoes. Let's clear this up. All right, I've already washed my potatoes. If you have not washed your potato, I've taken 1 large potato. It's about 200 grams, I think. And you can use other root vegetables if you want in this dish instead of potato. They also use onion traditionally, or you can even use shallots in the recipe. By root vegetables, I mean, let's see, carrot, of course, we're using that today. Potatoes, sweet potato is really nice, although not traditional.
How about radish or punnets?
Turnips, yes. Radish would be nice if you like the flavor of radish. That is, radish can be quite strong.
Yes.
In terms of flavor, right?
Indeed.
Yeah. So
and it tends to soak up also the fat in the dish.
Yes, it does.
Not so much fat. Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Now I am not
using sweet potato. You see a lot of sweet potato now in the market.
Oh yes, it's in season right now. So yes, you can use sweet potato. I love sweet potato in this dish, although the Filipinos don't. Filipinos don't use sweet potato in this dish. Just make sure you don't overcook your sweet potato because it does cook faster than potatoes. I'm gonna start cutting my potatoes now in large cubes. Okay.
Okay, so half them and then half them vertically and become.
This is about 2 to 3 centimeters, an inch in width. Okay, set those aside and we will chop my. Woo!
Oops.
My foot is fine.
Okay.
Still alive. Okay, gonna chop my carrot now. We're just gonna chop it up in rings. Now I have a huge carrot, so I'm not using it all. I'll use about 3/4 of it and I'll set the rest aside. Okay, well, I think my cameraman's gonna eat exactly.
Some. Raw carrot is crunchy, tasty.
And it smells like garlic right now, so. Okay, the other ingredients that I have. Now, if everyone else is on task, I am going to move on to the next part of prepping.
Has everyone
okay? Show me a thumbs up if you're done with the potatoes and the carrots.
Wonderful.
Okay, shall we move on? Shall we move on?
Yes, I think we can. Just waiting for 2 more people. Finish up chopping the vegetables.
Okay, cool.
Great.
All right, I'll start talking in the meantime. All right, other than the carrots and potatoes, you need black peppercorns. I mentioned whole black peppercorns in the recipe. You need about 1 teaspoon. And if you like the flavor of black peppercorns, you can use slightly more. I have some bay leaves, these tiny bay leaves. I'm going to be using these as well. Now, if you want to enhance the flavor of black pepper in this recipe, you can pound your black peppercorns slightly in a mortar and pestle. And I'm going to do that because I really like the flavor of black peppercorns in food. So I'm going to grab a mortar and pestle. And I'm just going to crack them gently. So not too much. I'm not trying to make a powder. Okay. Just crack them slightly so they halve basically. Yeah. See that?
Yes.
Okay. So this is what I have now. They're cracked. And it smells like black pepper in here right now. Okay. Pepper right there. And bay leaves as well. I'm just going to leave them together now because we will be using both of these together later on. Okay. Great. And apart from these two, we also need some brown sugar. I have about 2 teaspoons of brown sugar that I've gotten ready to go. And that's pretty much, you know, the ingredients that you need. You need 1.5 cups of water or chicken stock if you have it. I'm just going to use water because we're using chicken with bone. All right, so that's done. And we are going to move on to making, prepping for our spinach dish now. Adobo, all done.
Wow, so less than 20 minutes, we have already done the prep for the chicken dish. It's really fast, very simple ingredients.
Now, that's the beauty of Filipino food. It's very easy.
Wow, that's
make.
Beautiful spinach.
Okay, I have some spinach right here. Okay, this is Chinese spinach. All right, now this is what I mean by Chinese spinach. We call it Chinese spinach here, but it's really the same thing as English spinach. The leaves are slightly bigger, as you can see here. And you can also get the baby version of this in the market sometimes. If you haven't bought this, you should have bought the packed spinach leaves that you get for salad. So I gave you both options.
Wow, I see, yes, I see Daniel's, I see Silva's, I see Charlotte.
Yeah, they all have packets, do they?
Exactly, they have the spinach ready.
Okay, so they have it ready, I don't. So I'm gonna do my job now and have it ready now, okay? Now, it's pretty simple. I'll quickly show you how I wash my vegetables. Okay, for greens, this is what you need to do. And I do that for a lot of vegetables, actually. Take a big bowl. This is actually not big enough for my spinach. I'm gonna grab another big one. I soak my vegetables in water and vinegar to get rid of any pesticides and insecticides in them. So I've got a big bowl right here. I'm gonna fill it up with water, and we are going to start by adding some vegetable vinegar to it. Okay, simple, plain and easy. This is available everywhere, and you don't need any fancy, vegetable spray to clean your vegetables. All you need is vinegar and water. Okay, so lots of water, a glug of vinegar, about a quarter cup to half a cup of vinegar. Okay, just swish it around. And this is the best cleaner you can find for your vegetables. Cool. Okay, I've got my spinach right here. I'm gonna start by chopping the roots off because I don't need the roots. I only need the stems and the leaves, all right? So just take it in bundles, and I'm gonna move it over to my chopping board and cut the ends off, see? And just keep throwing it into my water.
So we cut the end, but we keep both the stalks and the leaf.
Yeah, so I've got most part of the stalk, okay? And the leaf, but I've gotten rid of the roots, okay? And we'll continue to do that now.
So we chop.
And we chop the roots off.
We put
throw in the leaves
in the water with vinegar.
Okay, and we're gonna basically do that for all of it. If you've got your
fresh, when we chop it, can hear the sound. Really crispy.
Yeah, yeah. Spinach loses its nutrition. Most greens that you get in the market, they lose their nutrition pretty quickly within 2 days. So it's best to eat your greens within 2 days of buying them. In Singapore, actually, as quickly as you can, because they've probably been sitting on the shelf if you've gotten them from the supermarket for a day or two. So as soon as you get them, come home and make them immediately on the same day, or at least on the same day, if not immediately. All right, now soak this for a few minutes so the soil in it settles to the bottom. Okay, and you can do this with all your salad greens. If you're doing this with regular vegetables or fruit, you have to soak your vegetables and fruit in vinegar water for about 10 minutes, and that gets rid of about 90–95% of pesticides in it.
Does the temperature of water has any effect? Okay,
you have to make sure it's at room temperature or cold water and not warm water, okay? Especially with greens, because they're gonna start wilting.
I see.
Right? Okay. I'll swish it around a little, and I am going to take this out now in a colander, and then I'll give it another rinse. Okay.
Payal, can we use any white vinegar or like rice wine as alternative?
You mean rice vinegar? Yes.
Yeah, rice vinegar, yes.
Yes, you can use rice vinegar. You can use apple cider vinegar. You can use vegetable vinegar. Any vinegar you've got at home. Don't use expensive balsamic vinegar in it, okay? Or red wine vinegar, because it's going to start turning your vegetables to a different color.
Yes. Well, we can see the water is a bit murky, so it's good that
Yep.
we clean it. Yeah.
See, there's soil right at the bottom.
Mm.
And I'm just going to give it another rinse to make sure it doesn't have any soil in there, and to get rid of any vinegary smell.
Right.
Okay. And if you bought packaged spinach leaves in a box, it should tell you if you need to wash them or not. In my experience, most packets that you get in Singapore are not pre-washed, and it states very clearly on them that you must wash them before using them. Okay. All right, so that's done. And I am going to set this aside to drain in a bowl while I am getting ready with my rice and my adobo. Okay, so that's sitting in a bowl. Let's move to the other side of the kitchen now. Cameraman, follow me.
Payal, we have a question on the chicken marination. Did we add any vinegar to it?
No, we did not add any vinegar to it today. The kind of marinade that we're doing today is from Ilocano province in the Philippines, and they add their vinegar later on during the cooking process. So no, we did not add any vinegar to the marinade, but you can actually add vinegar to the marinade for another recipe that you might find on the internet, because there are so many recipes out there and some of them do use vinegar in their marinade. Okay.
So we can use vinegar, but we're going to add it later during the cooking,
yes,
and not in the marination for today's recipe.
Correct. We're going to move on to making our rice today. If you haven't made your rice yet, I have got it right here. So get ready with your rice. Give it a good rinse.
Is it jasmine rice you're cooking today?
I am making jasmine rice today. Yes, I finally ran out of basmati rice. And I am glad I did, because I prefer jasmine rice over basmati rice any day. Okay, here we go. Add some water and we will get our rice going in our rice cooker. All right, if you haven't done that yet, please do so now, because you will be eating the rice with your meal today. Or you could even serve it with bread. I've got some sourdough as well sitting at home, so I'm going to be using some sourdough and some rice to serve this dish. All right, so let's move on to the cooking area now, everyone, and start cooking.
Payal, for the peppercorn and the bay leaves, we just cracked them a little bit and set them aside. So we have not used them yet.
No, we've not used anything yet. We've only marinated the chicken and prepped our ingredients. We are going to be using the cracked pepper and the whole bay leaves in a few minutes.
Great.
Okay.
So getting ready your wok, we are going to start cooking.
Okay. You could use a wok for this dish, or you could use a large frying pan, but make sure it's a heavy base frying pan or a heavy base wok so your chicken doesn't burn, okay? So I've got my wok ready. I'm going to get started by switching the gas on medium to high.
What oil shall we get ready for this?
Okay, I'm using coconut oil today. You can use coconut oil. You could even use olive oil in this dish. We have been using coconut oil for a lot of our dishes lately. All dishes that we've done so far, they've been, you know, quick and easy, high heat wok stir fries, which is why we've been using coconut oil all along. But for this dish, you could use any oil you want, because we're not going to be, you know, stir frying vigorously on a very high heat. Does that make sense? I've got my oil ready. I'm going to use about 3 to 4 tablespoons of oil in here.
Yes.
Okay. Nice and hot.
Even
make your wok hot first. Always make your wok hot first and then add your oil so you don't burn your oil and disintegrate it. And get your chicken ready as well. Got my chicken ready right here, and I'm going to start frying my chicken now. searing it on both sides.
How do we tell if the oil is hot enough?
I can show you how. This is what you do. So you get a spatula and you put it in the oil. When you see bubbles, small bubbles arising along the length of the spatula, you know that it's ready. See, mine is not ready yet because you don't see any bubbles. Okay, so you wait for bubbles to form along the length of the spatula, and that's when you know it's ready. So we'll wait for that. Do we have enough light?
Yes.
More light?
Wow, great.
Okay.
Now we see very clearly. We see the oil, actually some small bubbles are forming.
Yeah, see that now?
Yes.
Okay.
Light, very, very light sizzle.
Yeah, see, it's hot. I can feel it up here. And I am going to start by searing my chicken. So I'm not using any sauce here. I'm just using my chicken and I'm going to sear it very quickly on both sides so it's nice and crispy. Hear the sizzle?
Yes.
Okay, so don't put it all at once. Do a few pieces at a time, unless if you have a very big frying pan, then of course you can put more. So I'm going to do this in 2 batches because my wok is big
Why
enough.
do you not want the sauces at this point when you sear the chicken?
You want the sauce. You want to keep the sauce later on for the actual dish. If you add the sauce now, your chicken's going to steam instead of sear. You want to sear it on both sides and brown it on both sides to get that caramelized effect.
Great.
Okay, so caramelization will make it taste nicer. Okay.
Great.
All right. It's quite windy here today, so I'm going to close the window slightly so my chicken actually cooks. It's a nice day outside today.
It's breezy.
See, my chicken's starting to brown already, see? Now, the longer you let the marinade sit with the chicken, the nicer this dish is going to taste. I always make sure I let it sit overnight or at least for a few hours in the refrigerator. You just have to remember to bring it back to room temperature before you cook it.
Payal, can you share maybe how does the kitchen smell now?
This kitchen smells like garlic and soy sauce right now. And I can smell the caramelization from the soy sauce in there.
Yes, because there's some sugar as well, right? The brown sugar and the soy sauce.
Okay, we're gonna start to flip this now. See how it's starting to turn white along the edges? Right here and here. I'm gonna show you what it looks like now, see? Yeah, so slightly brown, time to flip.
So it's about a bit over 2 minutes, and then we see the side of the chicken meat turning a bit white, and then also on at the bottom a bit brown, and then it's time to flip them over.
There, looks great. We're gonna give it another 2 minutes on the other side, 2 to 3 minutes on the other side. Once it browns, we're gonna pull it out. We're not cooking the chicken completely because the chicken is going to stew later on in the sauce. We'll get a tray ready in the meantime, or a plate ready, and we will start to take it out in just a couple of minutes. Now, there's no danger of your breast overcooking in this dish because it's a stew and you're going to be cooking it for another half an hour, 35 minutes later on. So don't be afraid to cook your chicken breast if you've got a whole chicken like me. I'm guessing most people have gotten chicken thighs with bone in this dish today because it's the easiest way of making chicken adobo.
Payal, we have a question about Filipino cooking in particular. Are there any distinct differences you feel like Filipino cuisine does it differently compared to other Asian cuisine?
Oh, different meats, did you say, or a different approach?
I think in terms of cooking methods or flavors.
Filipino food is very simple. So it's mainly just a lot of sauces and lots of stir fries in their cooking. As you can see, this is one of the complicated dishes that they make, and it's really, really simple. You'll see in the next half an hour or so. It has very minimal ingredients, and that's how they cook, with very minimal ingredients. And they basically do eat a lot of meat in the Philippines, and a lot of seafood as well. But their seafood is also cooked with minimal ingredients, salt, pepper, and they're done with their fish or their prawns. And because the food there is so fresh, it's an agricultural country and it produces all of its food, and the supply is so fresh. Even, you know, the simplest of ingredients, then cooked fresh, they taste amazing. And that's so true for Filipino cuisine. Okay, we're gonna start searing the rest of the chicken now.
Yeah, so very simple ingredients and seafood.
There are a lot of Chinese who live in the Philippines, and that's why you see oyster sauce and soy sauce being used a lot in that country.
Mm. And I think you mentioned in the beginning also the Filipino cuisine is not so spicy.
No, it's not. It's actually not spicy at all. A lot of their food is just sauces and garlic. Okay, so again, medium to high heat, and you're going to give it about 2 to 3 minutes on both sides to brown it. And I think you should all be done.
Paya, I have a question. In case if anyone forgot to add brown sugar to the marination, is there anything we can do now?
No, there was no brown sugar in the marinade in the first place.
Oh, okay. So the sugar was any. Sorry. Okay, my bad. So the sugar is left at the side, and it's going to be added later.
Yes, there's no brown sugar in there. There was only garlic, ginger. I added the chili. That was my
own preference. So the chicken is just half cooked like this, right? It's not fully cooked. Okay.
Nope. You're just searing the chicken on both sides to lock in the flavor and also get some caramelization so it tastes better in the stew. You can actually just put everything in the pan together and start cooking the chicken and the sauce together. That way your chicken will just steam and you won't get the flavor that I'm gonna get today by searing. A lot of Filipino cooks just put everything together along with the marinade in the pan, and then they add all the other ingredients that I showed you earlier, you know, the bay leaves, the pepper, the sugar, and the potatoes. Everything goes in, they cover it, and they let it stew for an hour or so until the chicken is done. You can do that too, but it's not going to taste as nice as this one. I'm going to start flipping now. See, that's brown already. Here we go. This is almost ready. I still have my marinade, see? All of it sitting here, and I'm gonna use it in a little bit. So don't use the marinade yet, just set it aside. Finish searing your chicken first. Looks done, see? Let's start to pull it out now.
Yes, I can see some. Yes, I can see it. Yes. Let's see. Yes, from Amelia's Kitchen. Hi.
Okay. Now, I would like to check if everyone's almost done with searing their meat. If they are, then we can move on to the next step. Okay. Now I'm going to turn the gas off for a minute. Mm-hmm. And I am going to get rid of these burnt bits in my pan. Okay. See these burnt bits in your pan? I am going to continue using the same pan to make this dish because this oil that I have has a lot of flavor from the chicken and I don't want to get rid of it. Okay, it's gold, so don't get rid of the gold. Okay, we're going to use this to make the rest of the dish because this is where all the flavor from the chicken is right now. but you want to get rid of the burnt bits here.
Mm. So after fishing out the chicken, yes, like what Payal is showing us now, remove the burnt part so that we keep the oil.
So until a few years ago, I used to scrape the burnt bits out and eat them. But
so basically just removing all the garlic and all the ginger, just keep the oil. Okay.
Yeah, this is the fatty bit and a little bit of the ginger and garlic that's left, and the burnt parts of the chicken that you don't want. Okay. I used to eat this once upon a time, but you know, since scientists start saying that it's not good for you to eat burnt meat, I stopped. So I'm just going to get rid of this now. And move on to the actual cooking process. Is that
doing the same? Take your time.
Okay. Give me a thumbs up once you're ready, and we'll move on to the actual cooking process.
Okay, I see thumbs up from Luis. I see from Georgia Moore. I see Shuwei. Oh, I see a thumbs down. Okay. Great for you.
So not quite ready.
Not that's everyone.
Okay, that's fine. Take your time. And I'm guessing you're still frying your chicken. This chicken looks very tempting. And if you cook it for slightly longer, you can actually serve it like an appetizer even. Yeah. I love eating chicken wings this way. So if you've got lots of wings, you know, just buy a packet of frozen wings and use the same marinade and do this. Cook them until they're fully cooked on both sides, or put them on the barbie. So good. And serve them with...
People watching from YouTube, they've been very quiet today. Do you have any questions to ask our Chef Payal? Feel free to type in the chat box.
Okay, thumbs up yet?
Okay, I see Sister thumbs up. I see Noise thumbs up too. Okay, yes, we are ready for the next step.
Okay, all right. If you're done removing the burnt bits from your pan, switch your pan back on, again on medium heat this time. So not too high, just on medium heat. All right, so like this. All right, and get ready with your potatoes, your carrots, and your pepper and bay leaves. Okay, so I'm going to throw in my potatoes and carrots in there first. And I'm going to give it a quick stir and caramelize my potatoes and my carrots slightly. And if you think there's too much oil in there at this point, you can remove it. I added about 3 to 4 tablespoons of oil in the beginning to start with. I think it's okay. Okay, and I have my chili here as well. If you want to add your chili, you can do so now.
Wow.
Okay, you can either just chop it up.
Yes, can cut chili padi now to add to the wok.
There we go, I'm done. Okay, add your black pepper and bay leaves in there too. Okay, so chili padi goes in. Black pepper goes in. Bay leaves go in now. See, my potatoes are starting to turn golden right there. See that?
Yes.
Slowly. And the carrots are starting to caramelize as well. So that's good. And now it's time to add, and I can smell the black pepper, the aroma coming out of the black pepper. Now you put the chicken back in. So bring the chicken over. In it goes with all the sauces. Give it a stir.
Yes, everyone is following very well. have the chicken back to the wok.
Give it a good stir. Add your marinade now, all of it. And put about 1.5 cups of water inside your marinade bowl. So I'm gonna walk over to the sink and I'm gonna get 1.5 cups of water inside my bowl. Okay, got 1 cup right there. Another 1/2 cup right there, okay? Now go back again. Give this a stir. Okay, and throw in your 1.5 cups of water from the marinade. Okay, looks like a lot of sauce, but it's gonna stew in the sauce.
You see the wok is very hot because once you pour in the water, it boils immediately.
Yep. Okay, I'm gonna increase the heat so it boils a bit faster. Okay. Let this come to a good boil. And once it comes to a boil, we're going to cover this for the next 1/2 hour while we are prepping the
Payal,
other
do you want the
ingredients.
water to
How
be
about
at the
sugar?
top?
Not yet, right? Sugar not yet.
Nope, no sugar yet,
Okay,
and no
no
vinegar
sugar
yet.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna leave the sugar and the vinegar for the end. Okay.
Payal, do you want the water to be about to cover all the ingredients?
Yeah, but I'd say that, but don't put more than 1.5 cups, okay?
Okay.
That's the max. I actually like my adobo a little bit watery with sauce, so I can, you know, lap up the sauce, the wonderful sauce with my rice and with my bread, which is why I put a tad bit more water than what recipes usually say. But I really like chicken with sauce. What can I say? Okay, so this has come to a boil, looks great. I'm gonna get the lid. Everyone cover it.
Love a good stew too, so.
Okay.
Really
Cover it, and now reduce the heat to low to medium, okay? So not too low and not medium either. So can you see that? Okay, so it's low to medium heat, and I'm gonna let this simmer for about 1/2 hour. And we'll go back to this in about 25 minutes to 1/2 hour. In the meantime, we're gonna get started with our spinach recipe, all right? So the spinach is ready, like I said.
How's everyone doing? Ready to move on to the spinach?
Okay, there's two things we need to do. The first one is to grab a saucepan, a large saucepan. Okay, a large saucepan, and fill it up with water 3/4 of the way up, okay? One more thing I need to remind you is that if your gas burner is very big and very high, you need to adjust the heat accordingly to make sure that your stew is boiling, but it's not gonna reduce completely. You still want sauce left in there at the end of it, okay? So adjust it accordingly. I'll put mine between low to medium, okay? But if yours is a big burner, bigger than mine, then you need to adjust it accordingly, okay? Just to ensure, this is to ensure that your chicken doesn't burn, all right? Okay, let's move on to the sink now and fill my saucepan up 3/4 of the way up.
Payal, I think we've asked this question before, but it came up again on the brand of the wok you are using.
Okay, this one is actually a Korean brand. It's called ASD. I don't think you can get it in Singapore, but there are lots of other brands in Singapore that you can buy. I would recommend buying one that is heavy. If you're going to be using it for stews and stuff, a heavy wok works best. If you're going to be doing Chinese cooking, a light cast iron wok works best. Great. Let's move on. And you can get one from, I've mentioned this before, I think you can get one from Chinatown. Chinatown has very reasonably priced equipment. I'm gonna switch my gas on. And this time you are going to salt this heavily, okay? Always salt your water really well when you're blanching your vegetables, okay? So I need about a tablespoon of salt in there. That's because now, usually I put a few tablespoons of water, or few tablespoons of salt in my water, and I salt it really heavily because I want my vegetables to flavor from within with the salt. But here we're using spinach, and because spinach is so delicate, and we're also adding miso paste to this dish later on, and miso itself is quite salty, so I'm not adding too much. I'm only adding about a tablespoon of salt in there. And I'll let this come to a boil. And while this is coming to a boil, we'll get ready with our other ingredients. Stay right there, cameraman. Okay, I'm just gonna move my saucepan over here so I can show you what to do with the sesame. So get your sesame out. And I'm hoping you have one more stove at home because we're gonna be toasting our sesame now. Okay, I've got 3 stoves here, and I am going to grab.
We need about 2 tablespoons of white sesame.
Yep, so grab a non-stick frying pan or any frying pan and put it on medium heat. Let it heat up and grab your sesame in the meantime. Okay, I have got my sesame right here. So this is white sesame. All right, everyone ready? If you're ready, give me a thumbs up so I know.
I see a few.
Okay, cool. My chicken's stewing away, which is great. My water's coming to a boil, and I'm getting ready to toast my sesame.
So we don't
Shall
need
we get started?
any oil, right? Just a pan. Medium.
No, you just need a dry frying pan. You don't need anything on there. You're dry toasting your sesame.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, whenever you're ready. Is everyone ready?
Everyone ready? Yes.
Okay, super. So I've got some white sesame here. I'm taking 2 tablespoons. 1 and 2. And I am going to toast this by moving my pan around for a couple of minutes until they start to turn slightly brown. Now mine are already slightly brown. I think it's just the kind of sesame I bought.
Mm.
Okay, now a lot of times this is a Japanese salad, by the way, that we're doing. It's a very popular Japanese salad. A lot of Japanese, when they make this, they actually use toasted sesame. But I've noticed that when I use pre-toasted sesame versus sesame that I've just toasted myself, the difference in flavor is phenomenal. Toasted sesame that's just been toasted fresh, the oils used, when you start pounding it in a mortar and pestle, which we will in a minute, the oils that it releases when it's still hot, they're amazing. And it tastes so much better when it's freshly toasted, and it only takes a minute or so. So why skip that step and use, pre-roasted sesame? Try to do this from scratch and you'll see all the difference.
Yes, worth the extra effort.
Totally, and it's not really that much effort. Once you can see it browning a little bit, and when you can smell the oils being released from the sesame, you can turn the gas off, and we're gonna move over to our mortar and pestle and start making the dressing. And you'll see it's gonna start popping very soon. That's when you know it's ready. If I just leave it there for a moment and reduce the heat now because it's very hot, the pan. Mm. I don't want it to burn. See, it's changed color already. It's gonna start popping in a minute. See, this looks good. It's quite brown. I'm gonna turn the gas off because I don't wanna burn it. And I'm gonna transfer this all of it straight away into my mortar. Okay. And we are going to start by pounding this for our dressing. So let's move over to the counter over there. So we can start doing this. All right, everyone grab your mortar and pestle, and we are going to start.
Some of us are still roasting the sesame seeds. So maybe just give maybe
yeah, sure, no problem.
Yeah, and then my kitchen not big enough. So the stove cannot fit. So I gotta wait to roast this thing.
Okay.
Can we do it in the oven?
It'll take very long for your oven to heat up. Now, if you've got your pan, do you have your, you don't have a spare oven, is it? A spare stove?
I have mine is like 4 together. The stove very small, so it's very squeezy, you know. Okay, but it's okay. I mean, I managed to heat it at the side of the pan, so it's just getting hot now.
Okay,
then I can fry it. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely, no problem. Or you can take the spinach off for a minute. The water for the spinach, take that off for a minute, and do that there first. Okay, we'll wait for you. That's not a problem. Okay. So once you're ready with your spinach, your sesame, all you have to do is just pound it until it's finely ground, okay? So if you're ready, start doing that now, because this needs to be done while it's still warm. So we won't wait for you. We'll get on with it, but we'll wait for you once we're done, okay?
Hi, we are doing it because, is it because to get more flavors from the sesame seed?
We're making ground sesame basically. Okay, so I'm just twirling it. See, I'm not exactly pounding. I'm simply twirling this. And because it's hot, it turns into a powder instantly. Yeah, it looks like peanuts, the cameraman's saying. But it actually, if you pound it a little further, what you'll get is tahini.
Oh.
See there.
Wow.
Okay, so that's going to be the base of our
something
dressing.
I definitely want to try at home, making tahini.
And this is a beautiful dressing. You can use this for other salads too.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, I'm done here. Okay, everybody, just keep going. Make sure your sesame seeds are pounded while they're still hot. It's just easier to grind them while they're still hot. All right, so this is done, and we'll start adding the other ingredients in a minute. Okay, I need a thumbs up from everyone once you're done with this step, and we'll move on to the next step. All right?
Okay, yes, I see thumbs up.
Everyone ready?
Almost.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, we are going to use a few other ingredients here. I'll quickly go through them. I've got white miso here. Okay, white miso is made from soybeans and rice, and that's why it's called white miso. It's a very subtle, very smooth. It's got a very subtle and smooth taste because it's not fermented for that long. The other kind of miso that you can find, Japanese miso one can find, is red miso as well. There's yellow miso, which is made from fermenting soybeans and barley. And then there is red miso that's also made using fermented soybeans and barley as well. But that's one that is fermented for much longer, which is why it's way stronger. In my recipe, I asked you to get white miso. If you've gotten red miso by mistake or mixed miso, use it. You can use it by all means. Just remember, if you're using red miso, use slightly less than what I am using because red miso is very, very strong. Okay.
And Payal, brown miso is the same, right? It's stronger, so use a little bit less.
Yes, use slightly less. Okay, I'm using 2 teaspoons of white miso. If you're using red miso or brown miso, use 1.5 teaspoons. Okay, sesame looks like this right now. All right.
Very nice powderish.
Okay, and we are adding 1 teaspoon and 1 more teaspoon of my miso, white miso right now. So that's 1. And that's another 1. Now, in case you're not used to using miso at home, you can use it for marinades. You can use it for soups. You can use it in stews. It adds a beautiful salty umami to your dish. You can even use it in dressings. And I put it in my dumpling, my vegetarian dumpling fillings as well. Okay, so this is what you have.
Great to know.
So miso done. And now we're gonna add the other ingredients. Now I have some light soy sauce, which I'm gonna add to this. Just about half a teaspoon of light soy. Not a lot, okay? Because miso is quite salty and you don't wanna overpower it with salt. Okay, so half a teaspoon of soy, light soy sauce for saltiness and for umami. I have got sesame oil. Right here, I'm using about a tablespoon of sesame oil in here.
So have sesame seeds and then we're enhancing it with sesame oil.
Yes, sesame oil smells amazing.
Yes.
It's one of my favorite oils to use in salads. Okay, and once you added that, just give it a mix. And I've got to add a tad bit of sweetness to this too, and some vinegar as well, which I'm gonna do now. Just gonna twirl this around. I have got some white sugar here, okay? I'm gonna add a teaspoon of white sugar in there. That's gonna bring out the flavors in the dish. And I have got some white vinegar. You can use, actually, white wine, not white vinegar. We need white wine for this dish. So I'm gonna get that out as well.
Yes,
okay, you can use either, yeah, you don't need vinegar, you need white wine or Shaoxing wine or ideally mirin, which is a Japanese white wine.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't have any mirin at home, so I'm gonna be using Shaoxing wine. I also have white wine at home, but you know, this is closer to mirin than white wine is, so I'll just use this. If you don't have white wine either, you can also use sherry in this dish. Now this stuff has alcohol in it, and so we're going to reduce the alcohol in a small container first before we add it to our dressing. All right, I think we've got pretty much everything else in there already. We've got our white sesame in there, miso paste, sugar, light soy sauce, sesame oil. All we need to add is the wine. Okay, so take about a tablespoon of your wine in a small container and have that ready. I'm just going to use my sesame pan that I had earlier, okay? So let me just show you what I'm doing here, okay?
Payal, if we are using mirin, do we need to follow the same step?
Exactly the same thing, no matter what alcohol you're using.
Okay, so get ready, okay. Yes, your non-stick pan.
Yeah, get ready with your pan. It could be any pan, doesn't have to be non-stick. I'm just recycling my sesame pan, okay? All right, so take your mirin right there, or your oil, oh sorry, your mirin or your Shaoxing wine or any other wine that you're using.
White wine, sherry, yes.
Yeah, whatever wine you've got. I'm gonna move over to the stovetop again. Just give me a moment. Okay, put your stovetop, put it on the stove on medium flame, okay, this time. And you only need about 30 seconds for the alcohol to evaporate, okay? I'm just gonna hold my pan right over the flame, as you can see. Okay, give it 30 seconds on medium flame. That's all you need. As soon as you see smoke rising, that's your alcohol coming out. See that? See the fumes rising from there?
Yes.
Yep, that's it, that's done. We're gonna turn that off. Just about 30 seconds. And I'm just gonna pour this into my dressing right there.
Payal, just now when you were evaporating the alcohol, right, of the Shaoxing wine, you didn't flame it, you didn't touch actually the alcohol with the flame. You don't.
It didn't.
You don't need this.
No, you just put it on your pan, and the flame was on. The flame was on medium flame. The flame was on medium heat, and you just put it on medium heat for about 30 seconds. As soon as you see fumes rising, you know it's ready.
Okay.
Okay. It only takes about 30 seconds because there's nothing else in there. You see, it's a hot pan with nothing else in it. That's going to be my dressing. This is ready. Okay?
So you won't have fire. It's because you're not actually flambéing it. You're not having the fire in direct contact with the alcohol.
No, you're not flambéing it. You're merely evaporating the alcohol in it by giving it 30 seconds on a hot pan. That's all. Okay, so don't leave it in there for longer than 30 seconds, people. You don't want to set your kitchen on fire. Okay, so that's done. Okay, and hopefully your water has come to a boil. Mine hasn't because it's very windy and my flame keeps moving. It's almost there though.
So we're getting a paste-like texture.
Yep. It actually looks like a dressing, see? It looks like a very thick dressing. All right, done.
How does it smell like?
It smells like toasted sesame, like tahini. Almost like tahini. Okay, and it tastes amazing. I'm going to taste a little bit. It's salty and it tastes like a bit like sesame. And I can taste the tiny bit of sugar that I added in it. Okay, let's just set this aside for now and move over to our spinach. Okay, just going to bring it here. It's fine. My water has come to a boil.
Chicken?
If you want, you can uncover it and check how it's doing. Just make sure it's not burning. You don't have to. I know mine isn't because we did put a lot of water in it. See that? There's still a ton of water in it. So it's not burning, but if you want to give it a toss, a quick toss would be nice. So then the top has some soy sauce too.
Okay, great.
Okay, but I know that it does have a lot of water. So I'm just going to increase my heat slightly because I don't want it this watery, okay? So if yours is really watery too, increase the heat accordingly, okay?
Okay.
All right. Mine is just wavering a lot, the flame, because of all the wind that's coming through the window. All right, so check on your chicken. And if the stew looks too watery, just increase the heat by a tad bit and let it cook for another few minutes while we're doing the spinach. Okay, see my water's come to a boil. If yours has come to a boil too, then we can move on to the next step. Give me a thumbs up if you're ready to blanch your spinach.
Yes, I see many thumbs up. Awesome.
Okay, all right, fabulous. So bring your spinach over. All right, and we're gonna start putting it in to the water now. Don't burn yourself. Okay, just drop the spinach leaves in. And they look like a lot, but really, they are going to disappear in a few minutes. Now, spinach is a very delicate vegetable and it cooks very fast. So you only need about 2 minutes in hot water and you're going to pull it out. Don't get rid of the colander because you're going to need it in a minute. Okay, so give it 2 minutes in water and then you can pull it out. Okay, and I am going to put this through the colander and immediately I'm going to rinse it again with some cold water. Some people put it in a ice cold bath immediately. If you want to do that, you can do that too. I simply just put it underneath the tap. This is just to make sure the spinach retains its beautiful bright green color, okay? And if you've got just spinach leaves from the supermarket, yours must be done by now because it doesn't have any stalks in it. And baby spinach anyway is quite tender, cooks really fast. So if you're using baby spinach, take it out now and put it through the colander and start rinsing it with cold water, okay? Mine looks done as well. So I am going to move over to the sink in a moment. Okay, so let's turn this off. Move this over to the sink. Okay. Okay, and immediately put some cold water through it. I'm using my hands now that it's easy to handle.
Really nice shade of that green.
Yeah, it's still bright green, and that's because I have washed it with cold water. Some people just get a ice cold bath ready and they throw the spinach in there as soon as they're done, you know, getting rid of the water. Okay, so that's cold already. It's no longer warm. Okay, and turn the tap off. Get a bowl ready in the meantime. Okay, get rid of. I'm just gonna get a mixing bowl ready. Right here. Okay, and we are going to start putting the spinach in there. Okay, so what you need to do is grab a handful of the spinach, squeeze the water out. You don't need that extra water from the spinach. Okay, squeeze the water out, but don't squeeze it so much that there's no nutrition left. Okay, so get any extra water out and then put your spinach into your bowl. Okay. There we go. So I am squeezing it, but I am not squeezing the living daylights out of it. All right. I see people working very hard. Here we go. And my last bit of spinach. Okay. And right after I'm done with this, I am going to start chopping my spinach. Now, if you're using baby spinach leaves from a packet, you can skip this step. I am doing this step because my leaves are very long and they have lots of stalks in them. See my leaves right there? They're quite long. And so I'm just gonna do a quick chop. Not chop them finely, just into 1 to 2 inch pieces because, you know, I don't want people choking on these. All right, so quick chop. I'm just gonna grab a chopping board and a knife.
That is optional. If you prefer to have your spinach in bigger pieces, no problem. But our recommendation is to chop into about 1 to 2 inches.
Yep, yep. If you've got baby spinach, there is no need to do this step because it's already quite small. This is only for people who are using Chinese spinach like I am from a packet and had to do it from scratch. Okay, here we go. So just about 1 to 2 inch pieces. This just makes it easier to handle when you're serving and using chopsticks to eat this later on. All right.
Yeah, the big difference is Chinese cooking because we have chopsticks, so we do all the cutting beforehand, nothing on the table.
Okay, here we go. Just gonna pop this back into my bowl now that it's done. Okay, I'm gonna bring my dressing over. And put all of it into my bowl with the spinach.
So we're adding all the dressing.
The sesame dressing that we made earlier, that goes in now. Give it a good toss. Now I find mixing this way easier with a pair of chopsticks because then I can get in to little bits of spinach, into the little bits and pieces of spinach.
We have more tossing with the chopsticks.
Yeah, it's way easier to toss things with chopsticks than it is with a spoon. So if you've got chopsticks, use those. If you don't have chopsticks, just use a fork.
Okay. And Payal, what else will go well with the sesame paste?
In terms of vegetables, you mean?
Yes.
Okay, you can use any green vegetables in this dish. It's really nice with broccoli as well. So you can blanch some broccoli and toss it in there. Broccolini, tender broccolini. You know what's in season right now? Asparagus. So just get rid of the hardy bits at the bottom of your asparagus and cook it in some butter in a pan until it's nice and tender. I don't peel my asparagus, and I recommend people not to peel their asparagus because there's so much nutrition in the peel. Why get rid of it? And it's so tender. So take a blob of butter in a pan and toss your asparagus in it for about 7-8 minutes until it's blisters on the outside and it's a little soft on the inside. And then you can put this sesame paste on top and give it a quick toss before you serve it. Even tofu. Fried tofu is amazing with this.
Okay, so we know it goes well with any green vegetables, in particularly asparagus that's in season, and as well as tofu.
Yeah, pan-fried tofu, really good.
Awesome.
Okay, and you can even marinate your tofu in this sesame paste and then bake it in the oven for about 15 minutes.
Wow.
And get it crispy on the outside. It's beautiful.
Yes.
Okay, so that's done. I am going to serve this. I'm going to put it in my platter and put it in the fridge, refrigerate it for as long as I have.
Yeah, so it gets this extra refreshing taste.
Yeah, it needs to chill. So we don't have an hour today, so I'm just going to pop this in the freezer. Okay, very easier. Yeah.
Express.
So Just pop it in the freezer for a few minutes until we are ready to serve. My rice is already done, so that's cool. That's good.
Okay, so we're in the final steps for the 2 dishes today. For the spinach, we have mixed the seasoning and ready to let it chill. If you want it to be really fast, and feel free to put it in the freezer.
Yep, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna pop it in the freezer now. Tastes very good. Okay, this goes in the freezer now. And finally, I'm just gonna give this a light drizzle of some toasted sesame seeds and some sesame oil. So I'll just pop this in my freezer for now and we'll come back to this. If you don't have any toasted sesame at home, you can toast it now. I already have some toasted black and white sesame, so I'm just gonna use that, okay? But if you don't have it, you can toast it now. The chicken's been cooking for about half an hour. I'm just gonna move it here so you can all see. Okay, so we're gonna move back to the chicken. If everyone is done with the spinach, give me a thumbs up and we can move on to the chicken now. All right?
Yes, thumbs up.
Awesome. Okay. Okay, time to unveil the chicken.
Ta-da!
Ta-da!
Wow, lots of steam.
So my sauce is thickened quite a lot, see? It's nice and thick and it's caramelizing at the bottom. If you have that right now, give me a thumbs up. If your sauce is caramelized a bit and it's looking nice and sticky, this is how it should look. Yeah, it should be nice and sticky. It shouldn't be watery. If it's watery, increase your flame now and reduce it so it becomes like this. All right.
Yes.
Now is the time. All right, now is the time you're going to grab your vinegar. Okay, so get your vegetable vinegar. You can also use rice vinegar. They also use malt vinegar in this recipe in the Philippines, okay? Get a tablespoon and put 3 tablespoons of vinegar in here. 1, 2, 3, and if you like it tangier, if you like your food tangy, you can add a little bit more, another tablespoon. But I think 3 tablespoons is perfect. It just gives it a nice tang and it's not overpowering.
Payal,
okay, reduce.
Sorry, if you don't have vinegar, can we use lime juice if we have them on hand?
Yes, if you don't have vinegar, use lime juice, but I would highly recommend using vinegar in this dish for next time. And you can use any vinegar you've got at home. So any white vinegar would do. That includes your rice vinegar, your Chinese rice vinegar, okay? Now, usually I cover this again for about 10 minutes and then I add the sugar, and that's what I'm gonna write down in the recipe as well. But today, I'm just gonna do it now so we can get it out of the way, okay? So get your sugar, your brown sugar, about 2 teaspoons of brown sugar.
Yes.
And add that to your dish as well, okay? So 3 tablespoons of vinegar and 2 teaspoons of brown sugar goes in now.
Great.
Give it a good stir. Reduce the heat. Now my sauce is nice and thick. I don't have to reduce it any further, okay? Apple cider vinegar, if you've got that, yes, go for it. Okay, I'm just gonna cover this up now for another 10 minutes on low heat because my sauce is already thick, okay? If your sauce is not thick enough, you can leave it on medium heat, okay? Give it another 10 minutes and we'll come back to it in 10 minutes and we're ready to serve in 10 minutes time, all right? In the meantime, let's take questions, shall we, Shinwen?
Yes.
Okay, all right, fabulous. All right. Okay, people, if you have questions, I can take them now.
Okay, yay, Payal, we see you. Yes, have a glass of water. You've been
talking too much.
For, yes, over an hour.
Yep. No questions, huh? Very clever people today.
The recipe is really very well provided, explained, and also showcased.
It's easy.
We have a question from Jackie. Can we use anything else besides chicken?
Yes, you can use any meat you like in this dish. You can use pork, you can use beef, you can use even fish. Just remember to vary the cooking time. So if you're using red meat, you'll have to stew it for a lot longer. If you're using beef or lamb or pork in this dish, the stewing time might actually go up to 2 hours. So instead of putting it on low to medium flame, put it on and keep checking it every half an hour or so. So you know it's not burning at the bottom, and if it has enough liquid in it. And if it doesn't have enough liquid in it, you can add some water to it. Okay? Right.
Payal, do you see the question about
just hold on, I think my headphones stopped working, so I'm just gonna.
Okay, no problem. We hear you too from, without the headphones. Payal, we have a question on the water. So if we added too much water to the adobo, can we bring the adobo to boil to reduce the sauce?
Okay, hold on, my headphones are not working. I just need to increase the volume slightly.
No problem.
Yeah, can you say something? Let me see if I can hear you.
Yes, so a question about adding water. Can you hear me?
No, hold on.
Okay.
Let me try. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Tell me.
Awesome. So yes, we have a question about adding too much water to the adobo. Can we bring it to a boil to reduce the sauce?
Yes, just put it on high heat and let it reduce.
Okay, and without the lid, I suppose.
Without the what? Sorry.
The lid.
Yeah, without the lid. So have you added the vinegar already? So add your vinegar and your sugar and increase the heat and let it reduce. Okay. How much more water did you add? It's okay. Don't worry about it. Just reduce it until it gets really nice and thick. Okay. Right. You guys did really well today. Everyone's on task, and I can see most of you are almost done and just waiting for the chicken to be done. Yes. Show me a thumbs up.
Yes.
That's awesome. So many thumbs ups.
Yes, awesome. And we have a question about on the bay leaves. Are there different types? And apparently Charlotte used the English type.
That's fine. That's fine. If you've got, bay leaves are pretty much the same everywhere. They just differ in size. They taste pretty much the same everywhere.
Cool.
They're sourced from a few different countries in Southeast Asia. So no matter where you buy them from, they're probably sourced from the same country. So it doesn't matter which ones you use. You can use dried bay leaves or you can use fresh ones. Either work.
Yes. So we also want to take a bit of time, maybe since we're waiting for the chicken, to discuss about what we want to cook next week.
Next week, we could do Thai cooking again. We got a lot of requests this week that people want to cook Thai food again. So we're going to be doing pineapple fried rice, hopefully, and we'll do one more chicken dish next week. So please do join us.
How does everyone feel about that? Thumbs up, thumbs up. Awesome. Okay. The menu is fixed.
That's good. Okay, so people, I hope you guys had a good time today. And if there's anything we need to improve here, please let us know. And if you can take a minute, please do, and leave us a review on either Google or TripAdvisor. My company is called Commune Kitchen, and you can easily find us on my website. If you go on communekitchen.com, plain and simple, communekitchen.com, on the home page, if you scroll down to the very bottom, you will see links to Google, TripAdvisor, or Facebook. And please remember to leave us a review, because that would really help us out during these times especially.
Yes, absolutely.
And if you want to continue exploring and cooking at home, we've got tons of recipes on the website. We also have a YouTube channel called Commune Kitchen. We're on Instagram and Facebook, Commune Kitchen SG, if you want to find us. And we're constantly posting recipe inspirations and giving you information about, what's available locally in local wet markets, ingredients that you can use cheaply and find easily in your local market. So do that, eat local, because it's gonna save you a lot of money. It's not only gonna save you a lot of money, it's also gonna give you more nutrition, because greens that have just been picked taste so much better than ones that have been sitting in the supermarket for a few days. So remember that, okay?
Okay.
We're gonna go back to the chicken and check on it.
See if Louis' dish is ready.
Awesome.
Payal, do you see it?
Yeah, she's plated it already. That's awesome. Okay, we're gonna go back to the chicken now. Okay, let's go. And have a look. It's been about 10 minutes already. Okay, it's been about 10 minutes already.
Wow, the color has become even darker now.
Toss, and this is ready to serve with my rice. Okay. All right, so I'll just serve it in a dish. And I will also show you what to do with my spinach. All right, the spinach right here. We're just gonna put a drizzle.
From the freezer.
Can you hear me, Shinyang?
Yes, I can.
Okay, just a drizzle of sesame oil. And some toasted sesame on top. Let me get that. got some toasted black and white sesame.
So very simple.
And I always keep this handy in my fridge because I use it a lot on my salad dressings. Okay, so that's my spinach ready, my chicken's ready, my rice is ready, and we are ready to eat.
Yay!
Okay then. I think that's it for today, people.
Yes, I guess everyone is hungry and looking forward to taste their dishes. I wish I could smell what's cooking in the kitchen. And in fact, thank you for everyone for joining our session today. Next week, we do have a special cookathon event. And of course, we'll be having this class and a few more live sessions throughout the day, as well as replay of some other sessions. So it's going to be a cookathon. And we are going to be raising funds for Wheeling Heart Kitchen, a non-profit organization that's serving meals to underprivileged and seniors during these difficult times. So we will send out more information to you. In the meantime, enjoy your chicken adobo with sesame and miso dressing. And we'll send out the information as well as for next week's Thai food. We got a request on Thai dessert. So then let's discuss with Payal to see if we can make it happen. Okay. So if you have any suggestion, comments, please send it to us. And please support Commune Kitchen, support Payal. It's amazing what she's been doing. And I hope you enjoy the session and share this with more friends and people around you so we can get more people cooking together and do more what we do.
Bye, everyone. Enjoy your lunch.
Thank you. Have a great weekend. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.